Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever or wherever you're watching or listening. This is the Awesemo NHL DFS Strategy Show, and I'm your host, Michael Clifford, aka Slim Cliffy. Joining me today to break down this absolute monster 11-game slate, this glorious 11-game slate that we have ahead of us here tonight, our single entry assassin, Mr. Joshua Harris. Josh, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Got some big GPPs on both sides tonight, the major sites. Yahoo, I think, has a 1K to first. I could be wrong, but I hope it is because that is a nice site to play on, and they sponsor us. I didn't say that because they're sponsoring us. I truly do like Yahoo Fantasy because they don't have a casino.
That's one of those things, right? It's nice to not have that temptation at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're just laying on the couch by yourself or something like that. So yeah, we do have a lot of big tournaments today. I don't want to say how many tournaments they'll have. I want to say they're like 3 big DK tournaments every year, like one in November, maybe one in late January, early February, and then another one towards the end of the year. And, they have their Tuesday specials or whatever, but I'm talking like they're big tournaments. This is, one of the big ones of the year, the 444 over on DraftKings, and over on FanDuel. There's the 33 multi-entry with 20K to first, I believe it is. So and the $19 buy-in for the World Fantasy Hockey Championships over on DraftKings. So there's a lot going on in the NHL DFS world tonight. So we're going to try to help you win you guys a little bit of money tonight. Let's just go over last night's slate real quick because we do have a lot of games to get to today. We just had the 2 games yesterday. Blue Jackets at home came back and won 5-3 over the Red Wings. Lightning at home didn't come back. They just won 4-1 against the Islanders. I want to bring those games up because 2 of those teams are on this slate today. Both the Red Wings and the Islanders are on tonight's slate, both on the road. Not that either team looked particularly poor last night, but the Islanders have been struggling out of the gate the whole season. This is like 14 or 15 games in a row they played on the road to start the season. And, Detroit has a really, really good top line, and it seems like it has a good second line, but we're still not so sure about their depth. So what do you see out of those games tonight that maybe we can carry over into today's slate?
Yeah, I mean, the Islanders not as good a team as the Islanders fans think they are. They think Anders Lee is the best net front presence in the NHL.
That's the man that you're putting Chris Kreider up against him, aren't you?
I don't know if you ever watch Chris Kreider highlight videos. He's the guy. But, I mean, listen, the Islanders, I don't know, losing Eberle, replacing him with Zach Parise, not great. They're not as good defensively as they were. I don't know, their goaltending the past few seasons was, insanely good. So, I don't know. Maybe they bounce back, but, I think they're a middle-of-the-pack team. And then, what happened with Detroit? Grice just fell off a cliff at the end of that game. They were up 3-2 and they lost 5-3 in a blink of an eye. So that's a classic Detroit game. And hopefully, we get another one tonight.
Yeah. Depending on whether you're stacking Detroit or Dallas on the other side of that game. We will get to that game a little bit later, but we're not going to keep talking about last night's slate because it was a small slate, not many contests, and a big slate today. A lot to talk about. Before we get too much further, if you guys in the chat could throw us a like and a subscribe. I see 66 people watching and about 20 thumbs up. Let's get some more thumbs up for our bosses here. And once you guys have clicked that subscribe button, click the notification bell if you want to get notified whenever we hit the air. And of course, as Josh mentioned, we are brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. They're the sponsor for our show. And we have a nice little giveaway through Yahoo Fantasy that we'll talk about a little bit later, but let's get to this first game. Nashville, 2.3 implied goal total. They're going into Toronto. The Leafs have a 3.2 implied goal total, and Toronto went back to their old lines. Nick Ritchie on the top line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, Josh's favorite player. And then Alex Kerfoot down on the second line with John Tavares and William Nylander. Andre Kasha, one game on the top line, scores a goal, gets booted back down to the third line. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to explain that one to me at some point. Looks like the same lineup as last game for Nashville. The top line of Kunin, Granlund, Duchesne, and then Jeannot, Johansson, and Tomasino on the second line. Obviously, with Toronto's 3.2 total, and obviously just with Austin Matthews, they're gonna draw some ownership here. But before the show, you were telling me there might be something on both sides here. So why don't you take it away, Josh?
Yeah, okay. First, Sheldon Keefe, I know you're watching. You're an avid listener of the show. Say it with me. It's not hard. Kasha, Matthews, Marner, Bunting, Tavares, Nylander. Kasha, Matthews, Marner, Bunting, Tavares, Nylander. We'll keep going, but we have a lot of games to get through. So for DFS purposes, Mitchell Marner, my compañero, Mitchell Marner with Austin Matthews is much better for DFS. Like, Mitch Marner loves the secondary assists, and Austin Matthews is a very good finisher. So, the Matthews Nylander numbers weren't overwhelmingly good for DFS, but Marner is good with Matthews. I don't know if I'm going to go there tonight. Like, it seems like every time there's a big GPP on one of these sites, there's always one of the Ritchie brothers ready to blow it up. Like, whether it's Brett Ritchie on the top line or Nick Ritchie on the top line, like, Nick Ritchie is bad. Like, obviously he's a professional hockey player and he's better than I will ever be behind my computer, memeing, but like, he is not meant for this top line. So like, I just don't know. Like, I think I'm going to save the Leafs for another day. Like, there's better spots that I like. If you're going to MME, I think you can have some of the top six. Like, I really do, from an offensive standpoint, like the Matthews Marner combo and the Tavares Nylander combo. So, like, if I was going to go to the Leafs tonight, just from an ownership perspective, I would go to that second line. Yeah, they're going to get the Granlund Duchesne matchup, but I just think, getting them at like 2% on this slate would be better than playing Matthews and Marner like 9-10% and have, them to pick up Nick Ritchie on the way. On the Nashville side, as much as I do like the Tavares and Nylander match or line, like, they're going to get the Granlund Duchesne matchup, and I like that for Nashville. Granted, Nashville 2.3 total on the road. I don't know how big of a living you'll make, stacking 2.3 road underdogs, but under 1%, the line has been very good recently. Granlund Duchesne numbers together historically this season, last season, they are very good. So I think they can be in your MME mix. But for me, I'm going to go Toronto 2, Nashville 1.
Yeah, Toronto 2 was the line that stuck out to me kind of like as a full stack in this game because of some of the numbers you mentioned. What I want to mention about Nick Ritchie is, like, I agree with you, he doesn't belong on the top line, but at the same time, like, they're still generating 72 shot attempts per 60 minutes with Matthews, or with Ritchie on the top line with Matthews. So, like, they're still generating offense. I'm with you. I'd way rather have Nick Ritchie on the fourth line. I'd rather see Jason Spezza I'd honestly rather see Spezza on the top line than Nick Ritchie. But if you're going to keep generating 72 shot attempts per 60 minutes, you're at least going to stay in my consideration. I think this is honestly, and I want to get your opinion on this. We talk often about stacking the full line. I want to know what you think about just using Matthews as a one-off here tonight, because it seems to me, if Ritchie's not that good, it seems to me it could be a situation where maybe Matthews gets, one at even strength and one on the power play and can kind of blow the doors off, without necessarily his line mates coming along. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to one off somebody, like a Matthews or McDavid, which I generally don't like to do, if I had to pick between the two, it would be Matthews. One, because like he can just carry the line by himself, and two, the Toronto power play stinks. So like Matthews can get there on his own without carrying somebody.
I mean, I will say the Toronto power plays looked a little bit better over the last couple of weeks. A little bit a tough start to the year, but they have turned it around. They're generating a ton of shots on the power play, and that's kind of all you can ask for, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and I've ragdoll Marner when he's with Tavares, and yeah, like I'll continue to do it, but like Marner's numbers with Matthews are incredibly, like they're so much better with Matthews than when he's away from Matthews. So, it's an expensive two-man tonight, but, ownership's not crazy. They're not going to come in 20-25%. So I think you can do that as well.
All right. We do have to move it along. We have more games to get to. New York Islanders, 2.4 implied goal total. They're going into Florida. The Panthers have a 3.1 total. We did mention the Islanders are on a back-to-back, so I imagine Ilya Sorokin's going to get the start tonight for New York. The big news for the Panthers, obviously, is Jonathan Huberdeau was moved up to the top line with Alexander Barkov. That hasn't really been a thing for the last couple of years. They played like 5 seasons together, but the last couple seasons, mostly Huberdeau on the second line. But they're putting them back together. And I think a point to mention here is that there are certain players that can outdrive their expected goals rate, right? Like their expected goals rate might be like 2.4, but then they'll actually score 3.0 goals per 60 minutes. And Huberdeau is one of those guys. He just has a long track record of being an elite playmaker. And even though the raw analytics stats might not be great, the goals for and against over a large sample with Barkov are very good. So that's the one thing I'll say is that if you look back on Huberdeau and Barkov's recent history, maybe the Corsi for whatever doesn't look great, but the goals for and against still look good. I wrote up Anthony Duclair in the Power Plays article this morning. I really like the Florida top line. I want to get your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, I do as well. And they're going to get the Barzal-Lee matchup. But like with Parisi there instead of Eberle, Barzal and Lee have good historical numbers together, but you throw in Parisi into the mix at this stage in his career, I wouldn't imagine he's going to be very good defensively at this point. I do really like this Barkov Huberdeau Duclair line. Last night, I was like, oh man, Florida 2 so super cheap, but they broke that up. And while the name value of Verhaeghe, Bennett, Reinhart does raise some eyebrows for me, they just don't have a sample together, and I don't know how well they're going to mesh together. And at least we know that Barkov, Huberdeau have played together. They're on the power play together. Duclair has played with Barkov. Duclair can hang with these guys. Like, he's not some bum. So if I was going to go to Florida, it's definitely going to be that top line. If you want a power play stack, that is perfectly fine. But I'm top line over the second line for sure. For me, on the Islanders side, I mean, there's not much there that I really like. Just from a price perspective, like that top line, prices come down, but they're going to get the Barkov matchup, which I really don't want to go into. That Brock Nelson, Beauvillier, Palmieri line would be the line I would go to, but they're just too pricey with a 2.4 total on the road. So I'm pretty much going to be out on the Islanders tonight.
Yeah, I wanted to use that Islanders second line. I actually had them as one of the lineups to write in my Power Plays article this morning because I do like going into that Florida 2 matchup. But I was really kind of surprised by that low implied goal total of 2.4. And that kind of scared me off. And again, like you mentioned that price. We're paying $17,000 for a second line on the road with a 2.4 implied goal total. I think you just said that about Nashville. You're probably not going to build a healthy bankroll doing that every single night. So I'm not super excited about the Islanders here. I think the third line would be where I would attack the Islanders. So maybe like a Pajot one-off or something like that. But that's maybe it. I'm not stacking anything from the Islanders side. From the Florida side, the thing about Sam Bennett in the Florida second line is we just don't have, like you mentioned, we don't have numbers of Bennett not playing with Huberdeau. And as I mentioned earlier, Huberdeau's proven that he can drive goals for anybody. So can Carter Verhaeghe do the same thing? I think he can, but if I'm sitting there with 3-4-44 tickets, am I putting one of them on, or like 10-44 tickets even? Am I putting one of them on Florida 2? I mean, that's for everybody to decide. I just think it's risky for not having a sample together. That's all. That's just kind of my take on it. So that's why I would prefer Florida 1. And the ownership for Florida 1 is honestly very much in check. We're coming in at 8%, which is right at their top 2%. So no problems using Florida 1 here tonight. That's my focus on this game. Islanders 2 is honestly a line I do like, and they are in play for me. 1 to 3 lineups, probably not. If I was 20 maxing, they would be one of the stacks I would look to, and 150 especially. On the blue line, I like Radko Gudas. His price just isn't moving, and he's producing. Like, not super elite, but we do love the Gudas. So Radko is definitely a guy on my list. Other Sebastian Aho also on my list. Who you got?
Yeah, Sebastian Fiveho, min price on Power Play 1. We love a good ass here at Awesemo.com. 2,800. His price has gone down, so I like him as a one-off as well. Ekblad if you're power play stacking. Even Gustav Forsling under 4K. So there's a lot of Florida defensemen that I like.
Yeah, at least there's one in like every price range, right?
Yeah.
It's like 6K, 4K, 2,800 or whatever. So whatever you need, there is a Florida defenseman for you. Get access to all the great Awesemo Plus tools and content for nearly every DFS sport out there with an Awesemo Plus weekly pass for $29. $3.95. This includes full access to all the premium content and tools on Awesemo.com, including player projections, ownership projections, our premium Discord, lineup builder, and much more. If you're a new user of Awesemo Plus Platinum, then you can take advantage of the promo code we have for this show, which is NHL Strategy Show, all caps, all one word. It's NHL Strategy Show for 25% off your first week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You can find the link to activate this coupon in the description of the video below. And of course, if you're looking only to play NHL DFS, then you can sign up for one of our Awesemo Plus NHL packages for as low as $3.95 a week. Stop guessing, start winning. Join Awesemo Plus today. That's NHL Strategy Show, all caps, all one word, if you want to take advantage of our promo code for first-time Awesemo users. Let's get to these next games. 2.5 implied goal. Okay, actually, I should answer this one question because it relates to the our last game real quick. Is it a death knell to leave off Duclair and put in Hornfist for PP correlation? I will say that that's not something I would probably do in particular tonight. It's not something I'm against. It's something that I do a fair amount. It's just the Islanders don't take a lot of penalties. They're one of the fifth lowest teams in time shorthanded. So I think this is a game where I'd focus on even strength more than power play. What do you think, Josh?
No, I agree. I mean, if you need the salary, it's fine. But if you have that 1,400 and you're comfortable without, taking out Duclair, I think full stacking is the way to go in this game.
All right, let's do it. Next game, Montreal, 2.5 implied goal total. They're going into New York to face the Rangers. The Rangers have a 3.1 implied goal total. Montreal still without Carey Price and Jake Allen, so that's Caden Primo starting for the Habs tonight. We had a question in our Discord about Primo, and I just want to answer it right off the top, and I'll just say goalies are goalies. This is a prospect goalie. Coming up and playing, I think it's his first game of the season, maybe only his second or third of his career. They think he's going to be the heir apparent to Price, 2 or 3 years down the road. What's he going to be tonight? I'll just throw my hands up and go like this. That's just the way goaltending is. So Montreal 2.5 going to the Rangers with 3.1 total. What do you like, Josh?
I like the Rangers second line. I always like the Rangers second line. They're my favorite line. On the Rangers, they are going to get the better matchup. They're going to get that Dvorak matchup. And after the first couple games of the season, Dvorak's numbers have fallen off the big old Cliffy. And, they're pretty high event both ways. So, Panarin actually scored an even strength goal. Capo Kakko had his first few points of the season. He's still min priced. The line is super cheap. They're probably going to have some negative correlation just from a price perspective and their ownership. But I think if you're going to use a lower owned stack, you can mix in Rangers too for sure. Rangers one, if you want to use Zibanejad and Kreider, Fox or Zibanejad and Kreider Panarin, that's going to be expensive. But the Canadians' penalty kill is not great. They take a decent amount of penalties. So I think this is a decent power play spot for the Rangers. I just don't want to full stack the Rangers top line with Barclay Goodrow up there. And then if you want to go to that third line, Lafreniere, Hedl, two-man, I don't know if you need to go that deep on this slate. I know there's a lot of games, but there is a lot of value. So I don't think you need to go into the Evans, Armia, Lehkonen line. That line has actually been pretty good. So I think I'll save the Hedl, Lafreniere two-man for, a different time. So Rangers 2 for me. On Montreal side, I don't mind that top line. The problem is 2.5 total, road, 10%. A little too much for me. So I'm probably going to be out on the Habs.
Yeah, I was actually going to be on the other side of the third lines in this game. I do like that third line for Montreal here. And that's actually where I'm going to start, believe it or not, because the third line for the Rangers, especially the two-man of Hedl and Lafreniere that you mentioned, they're generating some offense, but they're also getting not run over, but pretty high event, 64 shot attempts against per 60 minutes, 2.5 expected goals against per 60 minutes. I think the Montreal third line is a nice nice deep filler here for your super expensive Toronto, Edmonton stacks, Washington stacks, whatever you want to do. So two-man Armia or Lehkonen or something like that. They do, that line has good numbers together this year. They're above 50%. And, that Rangers line is below 45%. So it's advantage Montreal. So I think that Montreal third line is I was playing, 120, 150, something like that. And even just one-offing like Lehkonen, I think is perfectly fine. Lehkonen and Armia. Like, I think they're perfectly suitable one-offs in this game. For me, though, this is more about the Rangers power play than anything else. Montreal taking a lot of penalties, 3.4 per game. That's definitely not what you want to do against this particular Rangers team. Not that their power play has always been super elite, but obviously guys like Fox and Panarin and Zibanejad can absolutely ruin your night in a hurry. And it's not as if the Montreal like penalty kill has been anything, special to write home about. Fourth most goals against, despite, like a mid-pack expected goals against. So like if Caden Primo doesn't hold down the fort here, the Rangers Montreal could be in tough. So I will say I do like a Rangers power play stack more than anything here. But any parts of the top six would be my focus. So that's where I am here. Rangers power play stack, maybe a bit of Montreal 3. On the blue line, I wrote up Adam Fox in the power plays article today, and it's just because of that power play exposure. Like if the Rangers get 4 or 5 power plays tonight, I think Fox can have a pretty good night. On the Montreal side, I suppose if the Rangers start shooting a lot, David Savard might block some shots, but there's just not a ton of defensemen on Montreal I like.
No, I'm not really enthusiastic about the Canadiens blue line. I also like Jacob Trouba under 5K. He's not the best real hockey player, but he is a good peripheral hockey player for DFS, so don't mind him.
All right, let's keep it moving then. Calgary, 2.9 implied goal total. They're going into Philly. The Flyers have a 2.5 implied goal total. If my math is right, that's 5.4 goals. They're not expecting a whole lot in this game. I believe it's Carter Hart against Jacob Markstrom here in this one. I suspect the top lines are going to go up against each other. The Couturier line up against the Lindholm line. That kind of worries me for both those top lines. I think that's a tough matchup for both. What are your thoughts on this game, Josh?
Yeah, like Couturier is one of the best two-way centers in the NHL. His line mates leave a lot to be desired defensively at this stage in their career, I would say. Claude Giroux, James Van Riemsdyk. The Awesemo top 2 stack percentage does like Calgary tonight, and they're coming in around 2%. I'm having a hard time getting there in 1 to 3 just because it still is Couturier. Like, he is a very good two-way center, and they're going to be going up against each other. It's kind of going to cancel each other out. So if I was MMEing, I definitely have some Calgary 1 in the mix. It doesn't take much to get over the field on them. I do like them. I do worry about the matchup, but it's not like Couturier has his normal line or his normal wingers, Travis Konechny, not great defensively, but better than James Van Riemsdyk, I would imagine. So Calgary 1 in my MME mix, 1 to 3, I'm going to take a pass. The second line of Coleman, Monahan, Mangiapane is interesting me. Whatever. I like them. Monahan, 3,500 top power play. Mangiapane, always a Awesemo favorite at 4,900. Blake Coleman, also, a good one-off. You can take pieces. The power play correlation isn't great. They're going to get, I think, probably the Hayes line. Hayes is coming back for an injury. He's got Atkinson and Farabee up there. That line could be had a little bit. So, again, I don't think there's going to be much that I'm taking primarily in 1 to 3 from this game. This game, just screams MME because it's a 5.5 total with money coming in on the under. So, I'm probably going to be in a little bit if on Calgary 1, a little bit on Calgary 2, and I would have some Flyers 1, but nothing in 1 to 3, mostly 20 to 150.
Yeah, it's Calgary 2 that's really drawing me here. I know we don't have them as a super high top 2 stack. They're coming in at 1% chance to be a top 2 stack. But their numbers have been very, very good in a small sample together. And it's not surprising to me because we talked about this last week. The kinds of players that Coleman and Mangiapane are, it seemed very likely that they would bring Sean Monahan on for a pretty good ride, getting depth matchups. And that's going to happen again here tonight. I agree that I think where the Calgary 1 top 2 stack is coming from is Philly's is Philly's penalty kill. Right, they're giving up 3.6 penalties against per game, I think, which is one of the highest marks in the league. So, like, if Calgary gets 4 or 5 power plays here tonight, I think that's where their avenue comes from, and that's why I wrote up Rasmus Andersson in my power plays article this morning. Is like, I don't think it's necessary. Like I think the Calgary power play can have a good day, and the players not having massive days. You know what I mean? Like, the Calgary power play can get a couple goals. Rasmus Andersson gets one. Matt Tkachuk gets one. The assist mix around. If a guy gets a goal and an assist on a 16-game slate, on an 11-game slate, sorry, that doesn't. Why did I say 16 games? There's 16. I guess if it could be a 16-game slate eventually. But anyways, if the top line against Calgary or against Philly is going to get that match, when that second line is going to get the depth matchups, then it just seems like better matchups with a good line, good top 2 stack. I think you can at least 2-man, like, Mangiapane Monahan, or, Coleman Monahan, or something like that. So I do like Calgary 2 as like a 2-man filler stack here tonight. Calgary 1, you're right. It's more in your 150s or your 20s. 1 to 3, like, I don't know, man. 1 to 3, I think you can get there, because it is a really good power play matchup for them. That's what I'm going to say. So I think 1 to 3 you can even get there.
If you have 1 to 3 in the 444, that would be a spicy meatball, but you can do it.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to have them in my lineup, but I would not begrudge somebody else for doing it. On the blue line, like I mentioned, Rasmus Andersson. I think Rasmus Andersson can actually be one-off here tonight, because like I said, I think Calgary can win this game like 3-1, and he has a great night and nobody else does. You know what I mean? So Rasmus Andersson, I actually don't mind him as a one-off. I don't mind Ivan Provorov as a one-off either. If Calgary's going to get like 5 power plays, he's going to block 1,000,000 shots. So don't mind Provo one-off either. What do you got for defenseman?
Yeah, other than Rasmus Andersson, Noah Hannafin's a little too pricey for me. On the Flyer side, Rasmus Ristolainen still at 3K. One of these games he's going to do it. So at 3K, I don't mind him as a one-off.
All right. Give us a like and a subscribe if you could, so you can keep up with all our shows, all our DFS offers, all our giveaways, and a whole lot more. Once you subscribe, click that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. Be sure to check out today's free premium tools and data. We have free premium tools and data up on the site almost every day, today being no exception. NBA main slate ownership projections, PGA golfer rankings, and NHL top stacks. You just heard us talk about Calgary 1 and 2 and their top stack percentage. Well, if you want to check it out for yourself, we have NHL top stacks free up on the site right now. If you're playing NBA DFS tonight, be sure to check out Adam Scherr's NBA deep dive article, which is the most in-depth free NBA DFS article you'll find anywhere. Finally, we also have a giveaway you should enter to win a free chance of Awesemo Plus Platinum that we will be running on the NBA Live Before Lock tonight. Just head to Greg Ehrenberg's personal Twitter handle, GEHRENBERG DFS. That's Gerenberg DFS, where you can find the link pinned in the YouTube chat, and check out the pinned tweet there to find out what you need to do to enter that giveaway. So that's GEHRENBERG DFS, Greg Ehrenberg's DFS handle to check out. We have a free giveaway tonight for a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. All right, let's move it along. Buffalo, 2.4 implied goal total. They're going into Pittsburgh. The Penguins have a 3.5 implied goal total. If I'm not mistaken, it's the highest on the slate or the second highest on the slate. There's probably going to be a fair amount of Pittsburgh ownership here tonight, as ownership tends to follow implied goal totals, and we do have them coming in somewhere around 12 or 13%. That seems fairly high to me, Josh, but I want to get your opinion. What do you think of this game?
Okay. You take everything out of the equation and say, give me Gensel, Crosby, Rust against the Sabres at 12%. I'm in. Now, the problem is Crosby's coming back from COVID. And we saw with Ryan O'Reilly, he said he's just felt like crap and his game has been crap. Even Crosby said, like, he's been out for 10 days, hasn't been skating. It's going to take him a while to get back in game shape. So that worries me. Like, if a player is admitting he's not in game shape, it worries me.
You never hear that from a player. Never.
Crosby resulted to, like, just, javelin tossing people into the boards last
Crosby's
game.
in game shape since he was like 15 years old. Like, this has to be bad.
Yeah. So, like, it worries me. Yes, this is a very good matchup. And yes, they're fully correlated on the power play. But Crosby admitting that and saying, like, it just worries me. If you want to play Pit 1, like, conjecturing about someone's health is, like, literally one of the worst things you can do for DFS. Like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's one of those situations. But, like, for me, I'm flag planting. I'm going to fade them. There are other spots that I like better on this slate. If you want to use them, by all means, go for it. I don't mind that second line. They're coming in about half the ownership. They're going to, there isn't a matchup on the Sabres that worries me defensively. Zucker, Carter, Kapanen, it's okay. That's where I'd go on Pittsburgh. But again, if you want to use Pittsburgh, do it. I'm just worried about Crosby. On the Buffalo side, I'm probably going to be out for the most part. Even if Crosby isn't fully back, he's still probably better than anyone on the Sabres. So, and the Pittsburgh is a good defensive team. Yari is a trash can, but, like, it doesn't matter. 2.4 on the road Sabres on an 11-game slate. Like, unless I was making, 50 or more lineups, it would be hard pressed for me to get some Sabres in.
So the one thing that's kind of keeping me really away from Pittsburgh here, like, I get the 3.5 total at home. It's a good matchup. Buffalo just doesn't take a lot of penalties, right? Like, 10th fewest penalties taken on the season, I think. And, like, a pretty good penalty kill. Top 10 by fewest shot attempts allowed. Like, there's not really giving up a ton. Like, their actual goals against on the penalty kill is middle of the league. Like, one of the big reasons to play Pittsburgh is their perfect power play correlation, right? And if it's not a great power play matchup, I mean, it's a 3.5 total, the highest on the slate. So we're trying to find reasons, why we wouldn't play them. But obviously they're in one of the best spots on the entire slate, or else they wouldn't carry the total that they have. So I'm not going to say no to playing Pittsburgh. I probably won't be playing Pittsburgh tonight. I just don't think it's a particularly great special teams matchup. But the fact is that they're 17,900. And if this line plays the way that they can play, it's probably a $21,000 line, right? So they're probably underpriced if they're fully healthy. It's, that big asterisk. Are they fully healthy? I'm going to probably take a pass on them. I do agree with you on the second line. Kapanen and Zucker have really good numbers together, even going back to last year when Zucker was struggling. So I can't imagine adding Jeff Carter is going to hurt too much. So I do like them as a filler stack. I think I'd just play Pittsburgh 1 and just stack the top line if I was playing Pittsburgh tonight, but I'm probably going to be off them specifically. Nothing on the Buffalo side for me. On the blue line, I noticed with all the guys back, Pittsburgh kind of spread the ice time around, but they also got the break speed off them that game. So might have just been resting players. Anybody on the blue line stick out to you?
Not really. I don't think I would want off Letang at 7K. Like, maybe Marcus Pettersson one off at min price. He could probably do worse, but nothing really is standing out for me on either side on the blue line.
Me neither. Let's get to the next one. Arizona, 2.1 implied goal total. They're going into St. Louis. The Blues have a 3.4 implied goal total. I mean, I don't know if you feel different, but I'm just going to say we don't have to talk about Arizona.
Correct.
Okay. What do you like from the Blues here?
Oh, man. Like, I don't want to like the Blues top line tonight, but it's the Coyotes. Like, you have to put them in play here. Like, Ryan O'Reilly, he's been – you were talking about it in Discord about their power play with O'Reilly on there and Perron on there compared to off. Like, the numbers are, like, crazy. So, like, yeah, that top line's good because Kyrou and Buchnevich share power play too. There are 3 lines that I like on the Blues tonight. I think they're all viable, but literally 1, 2, 3 is the order that I like. I like the top line the best. If you want to go down to that second line, like, Barbashev actually been playing pretty good with Thomas and Tarasenko. I don't know if you need a full stack there. Like, you can do a Thomas Tarasenko. The thing is, like, we talk about every time, like, Tarasenko or Thomas isn't going to really be a big goal scorer, so he's going to need assists to pay off at his price. But it's only 3,800. You could do worse. He'll Wenberg his way there if they do, go off. I also don't mind the Saad Perron combo, but, like, like you were talking about, the second power play unit, quote unquote, is where I really want to concentrate. So that top line for me is one of my favorite spots of the night for many reasons. 3.4 total. They're going against the Yotes, and their ownership's around 6%. It's just like the trifecta, and it worries me because I don't want to like them, but the numbers, like the ownership and the total and everything, is telling me we should play some Blues tonight.
Yeah, the implied goal total definitely very much in check, sitting at a 3.4. And when I was writing my power plays article this morning, the one thing that I was super concerned about was ownership. And no ownership, 6 to 7% on the top line, 3 to 4% on the second line. Like, you're going to give me the top 6 at a combined 10% at home against Arizona. Like, I don't know if people realize just how bad Arizona is. Like, bottom of the league offensively, bottom of the league on the penalty kill. Like, there's just not a lot going on here. So I get if you want to stay away from St. Louis 1 because people are afraid of Ryan O'Reilly, but like a Kyrou Buchnevich 2-man makes sense for that power play exposure. Robert Thomas, you're right, like he might Wenberg his way there. I was surprised by how many points he actually has this year. He actually has like 14 points in 15 games or something like that. So like he definitely is a threat for I'll call it the 3 assist bonus. He doesn't get a 3-point bonus. It's a 3 assist bonus for Robert Thomas. He is a threat for that. So I do kind of like, if I was to full stack a line, I think I would full stack St. Louis 2, but I like the 2-man of Buchnevich and Kyrou the most out of this whole game. So that's where I am on the Blues. On the blue line, Scott Perunovich in the lineup for St. Louis. He's a legitimate prospect for them, running the second power play unit at min price. I would just worry about ice time. You know what I mean? He could probably play like 16 minutes here tonight. Torrey Krug is back and on the top power play unit, 6,300. That probably pushes the rest of the St. Louis Blues defensemen out of range for us. So what do you think?
Yeah, Justin Falk's season is canceled, and I personally am super happy about that.
I don't have to play him anymore, man.
Yeah,
feels so good.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to play Krug tonight. He is also coming back from COVID. 6,300. Like his price went up 1,300 while he was on the COVID list. So I'm going to take a pass.
Okay, good enough. We have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NHL season to bring you some great offers. Check out our exclusive limited time offer, which gets you 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo. Sign up for an account via the link below, deposit and play. That's it. Yahoo will send us your name after you play in your first paid contest, and we will reach out via email with your coupon. And if you need immediate access, email support@awesemo.com and we'll get you set up right away. You can also claim a free $10 below, which can be used to enter any Yahoo contest. Be sure to use our DFS tools and projections designed specifically for Yahoo to give yourself the best shot at winning big. Love Yahoo. Be sure if you're a new user and you don't want to go up against all the sharks and you want to take your time to acclimate to DFS, I would definitely take advantage of this. Head on over to Yahoo. You can even get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum out of it, so we can help you along as you get your feet wet in this DFS adventure of yours. All right, let's move it along to the next game. San Jose, 2.4 implied goal total. They're going into Minnesota. The Wild have a 3.2 implied goal total. We've talked about COVID and its effects already the show. San Jose got like half their roster back over the last couple of games from COVID. I wonder how they're managing, but 2.4 implied goal total on the road tells me Vegas isn't expecting much from them here. What are you expecting from this game, Josh?
Yeah, I like the Wild tonight, and I had the line matching wrong when we were talking before the show. I thought the Wild were on the road for whatever reason. Wild are at home, so Joe Eriksson, Kevin Fiala, Marcus Foligno going to get the Couture matchup. I think that's not the worst for Minnesota. That line has been really good. Joe Eriksson, Kevin Fiala have really good numbers together. Marcus Foligno, surprisingly, has been pretty good offensively recently. But for me, the line that I really like is Kaprizov, Gaudreau, Zuccarello. They're going to get bottom 6 matchups. I would imagine maybe some of the Hurdle line, some of the Bonino line, but that's a really good matchup. They're coming in around 3-4%. It's a 3.2 total, so ownership is a little bit lower than I thought it would be. Sharks, not a good team. James Reimer's in net. Their blue line's pretty atrocious outside of Mario Ferraro. So like, I really like Minnesota tonight. Both of the top lines, but I think I would slightly prefer Kaprizov, Gaudreau, Zuccarello. I probably am in a wait and see mode on the Sharks. Again, it's a 2.4 total on the road on 11 game slate, so it's not that easy or not that hard to say, hey, I'm going to fade them. So I'm going to save them for another day.
Yeah. I just want to mention the line matching real quick. Since they very recently put together the Sturm, Duhaime, Hartman line, that line has been taking a fair amount of the top competition at home. So it's very possible we see both the Minnesota top lines get nothing but depth matchups in this game. So I think it's a pretty good matchup for either of the top six lines. And I would say just pick the line, that fits your salary or fits with what you want to do a little bit better, because I don't have them separated by much in my personal projections, especially once you factor in salary. So it's just kind of what fits in better salary wise for your lineup. I wrote up the Eriksson Ek, Fiala, Foligno line in my Power Plays article this morning. And I just want to read a bit about it. And as mentioned in the Foligno section, this line should be able to take advantage of the recovering depth from San Jose. This line, going back to last year, generating 71 shot attempts, 2.9 expected goals, and 3.7 actual goals per 60 minutes. That Eriksson Ek, Fiala, Foligno line has been very good. You can leave Foligno off if you want to and just two-man to get some additional power play exposure, but I like that three-man from Minnesota here quite a bit. Foligno, Fiala, Eriksson Ek for me. On the blue line, there's just nothing that sticks out to me on the San Jose side. I know people will probably play Mario Ferraro. I'm not going to say no to playing Mario Ferraro, but it's just not a one-off that I'm focusing on in that range in this game. Who's sticking out for you on the blue line?
Yeah, I mean, Ferraro, for me to play him, he needs to be like 3,500 or less. 4,200 is kind of no man's land. I don't want to pay up there. I like Spurgeon if you're using the Wild. I think he's the guy for me. Dumba is a bit overpriced still. Jonas Brodin, 4,100. You could do worse. I'd rather play Brodin than Ferraro tonight. But Spurgeon is my main focus.
Yeah, I do like Spurgeon as well. Let's get to the next game. Edmonton, 3.1 implied goal total going into Winnipeg. The Jets have a 3.0 implied goal total. There's a question in YouTube earlier. They were asking about whether people will fade McDavid or Draisaitl here tonight. I don't think so. Two reasons. One, people don't fade them. Two, it's one of the better special teams matchups on the entire slate, and people that dig into this game will know that, and they'll see the 3.1 on the road with Edmonton and know exactly what's up. So, McDavid's not going to be 30% or 40% owned tonight or anything like that, but if he's, somewhere around 15, 20%, that probably sounds about right to me. All right. What do you like out of this game, Josh?
So, are they going to send out Connor Dubois Wheeler against McDavid? Is that what you're thinking? Or
yeah, but also at the same time, I don't think it really matters a whole lot between the top two lines, because I'll say this: Dubois and Connor, their defensive numbers have actually been pretty good this year. Maybe Wheeler hurts that, but
yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect what I'm going to do on the Edmonton side. So this is a top line for me. Like, guess Puljujarvi power play too. I feel like a broken freaking record every time I talk about Puljujarvi, but he does get some power play one time. Connor McDavid plays on every single power play unit. He never leaves the ice. He plays 106 minutes a game. It could be a 27 game slate. He'll still be 15% owned. People don't fade him. He could be 11-3 on a 10 game slate. He'll still be at least 15% owned. So Edmonton won. Edmonton power play, this is a really good spot. It is pricey to get McDavid, Draisaitl in together. It's 18,000 for the two of them. Hyman not too bad at 5,900. Nugent Hopkins 5,300. They're all coming in over 10%. So I think you either full stack that top line or you full power play stack here. It does worry me that Tyson Barrie is on the top power play unit, but he does bring the cost down. He's cheaper than Nurse. So then on the Jets side, I could see myself getting to some Cop Scheifele Ehlers I don't know. It just doesn't like pop for me. Like in 1-3, it's hard for me to get behind that line. Their historical numbers aren't that great together. It is the Oilers, and no one loves a "Here Comes the Oiler" gift party more than me. So like I don't mind that. I have a hard time getting behind the Jets tonight. There's so many more lines priced around the same price that I like better tonight.
The one thing that's scaring me about Winnipeg tonight is this, and we talked about it in our Discord. It's their recent schedule. This is 5 games in 8 nights, all on the road for them, and they're heading home after this one. And, we've talked about the get home games already a couple times this year. I think one time a team got blown out, and the other time it was Calgary and Pittsburgh, and Mark Schmidt had to make like 45 saves or something like that. Like, these are human beings. They just want to go home. That's kind of that's my process. Like in 1-3 line, like I'm probably going to play 1-3 here tonight. I'm definitely only playing 1 in the 444, but I'll probably get, a couple others elsewhere. You have to find reasons to exclude certain lines. If I'm only playing 1-3, my reason for excluding Edmonton is that this is 5 and 8 on the road and they're going home. Like, I think this is a case where, and Winnipeg, like I mentioned in our Discord too, they added Schmidt and Brendan Dillon in the offseason. And I think those are 2 massive additions for them. It gives them a top 4 that can actually move the puck and defend, which is something they haven't had in 5 years. So, like, if I was 20 maxing or 150 maxing, yes, obviously I would have 15, 20% McDavid. In my 1-3, I think I'm going to fade him here tonight. You know what? If he beats my brains in, at least I get my brains beat in by the best. On the Winnipeg side, I do like that Ehlers line. The problem is that you're not getting much correlation with them. So, a 2-man of Ehlers Cop is probably where I would go. I want to get into the second and third lines of Edmonton. I don't want to face off against the top line. On the blue line, I don't know if there's anybody sticking out to you in particular. Like, there's not a defenseman that sticks out to me in this game as a one-off. I mean, I guess Darnell Nurse. We always say Nurse, but
yeah. There's nothing really popping for me in this game either.
Yep. All right. Let's move it along. We have Awesemo Hall of Fame here, and because we like to celebrate all of our users and all of their wins. So if you want to get in the Awesemo Hall of Fame, download the Awesemo avatar from awesemo.com/avatar. Place in the top 3 of a contest with over 5,000 contestants. Tweet the wins to the Awesemo HOF account, and then you can win a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Note that you can only win 1 free month per calendar year. You can't keep winning every month. And you'll see Awesemo Hall of Fame come up on your screen. You see a 5-figure NFL takedown from Showdown. You'll see another 5-figure NFL takedown from Showdown last night. San Francisco actually looked kind of good last night. You'll see a second place from BNC NFL over the weekend. And you see these guys winning thousands of dollars, but you don't have to win thousands of dollars. We have one celebrating a $400 win from a 10K winner, or from a 10K NBA contest. So you don't have to win. It's the Awesemo Hall of Fame that we just want to get you in. So Awesemo HOF on Twitter if you have the awesemo.com avatar as your avatar. All right, let's move it along. Detroit 2.3 implied goal total. They're going into Dallas. The Stars have a 3.2 implied goal total. Jake Ottinger, whatever, starting in net for Dallas. Detroit played last night, so it's back-to-back on the road for them. Grice started, so that means Nedeljkovic starting for Detroit. What do you like out of this one, Josh?
Yeah. Let me read you some Detroit 1 numbers here. 115 minutes this season, the trio of Bertuzzi, Larkin, Raymond. 16 high danger chances, 4 per 60, 50% Corsi for, and a 3.3 or 3.53 expected goals for. Very good. 15 high danger chances against per 60, 2.88 expected goals against per 60. Very high event. Gonna get the Rupe Hintz matchup. Dallas 1 has very, very good numbers. They just need to start scoring. They're going to start scoring. They're coming in at 4%. This is one of my favorite spots of the night, and I hate it because this team drives me nuts for DFS, but I love Dallas 1 tonight. Robertson, Hintz, Pavelski. Detroit, again, back-to-back on the road. those are spots I like to take advantage of, especially a team as lovely as the Detroit Red Wings. I think this is a very good spot for Dallas 1. Not much else down the lineup that I really like. Sagan Radulov, not super exciting for me. Raffle Ben Gurionov. Like if you could tell me that Gurionov's going to play 16 minutes tonight, yeah, then maybe I'll two-man a Ben Gurionov. But Gurionov, they'll take one bad shift and not see the ice for 38 minutes. They'll play 7 minutes. So Dallas 1 for me. Not much on the Detroit side. If you want to use a filler stack in MME with Detroit too, they're going to get, that Ben Gurionov Raffle matchup, and that's, not great. So if you're MMEing, you can take a couple stabs on Detroit too, but other than that, not super high on Detroit tonight.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. That's exactly where I was looking in this game as well, that Dallas top line. I mean, Detroit top 10 by time shorthanded, and depending on what metrics you look at, mid-pack to bad penalty kills. So good special teams matchup, back-to-back on the road for the Red Wings. So I do like that Detroit top line. I agree with you on the filler line for Detroit as well. Zadina, Suter, Fabry. Zadina's looked really good this year. I think you can even like one-off Zadina or something like that if you want. I do like that Detroit second line as a filler. On the blue line, I don't have anybody besides Correlation. Do you?
No.
Okay. We a couple more games to get through before we get out of here. If you guys could click that thumbs up and click the subscribe button, just really helps us make us look good for our bosses, and click that little bell if you want to get notified whenever we go on the air. Carolina 3.0 implied goal total. They're going into Vegas. The Golden Knights have a 2.6 implied goal total. No Jonathan Marchessault for tonight for Vegas. He's in the COVID protocol, and that worries me because maybe they get other guys testing positive throughout the day sometime today. We just don't know. Carolina looks like they're going to be going with a top line of Natchez, Svechnikov, and Aho. Josh Levo was there, but I think he's a placeholder. That top line's interesting to me, but then they have to go into Mark Stone. So what do you think about this game, Josh?
Yeah, and there's a picture going around Twitter with Marchessault and Robin Lehner at the Raiders game, I think. So I wouldn't be just surprised to see Brossoit on net tonight. But Brossoit is good. He's not just some random backup. Yeah, I do like the top line for Carolina. We're going to have to see what the ownership does when they run Aho, Svechnikov, not just together. They are going to get Stevenson, Stone, but Evgeny Dadonov, not the player Max Pacioretty is. So I think there is reason to believe that you can use Carolina 1 tonight. They are expensive, and they're probably going to go overlooked tonight. So in MME, I really do like that Carolina top line. Getting down to them in 1 to 3, I would consider it. I don't know. I haven't built my lineups yet, so I don't know. I haven't made the tough cuts yet, but they're definitely in consideration for me. If you want to go to that second line, Trocheck, Teravainen, Kotkaniemi, I mean, they're going to get, some very good matchups. Marchessault's out. Alec Martinez is out as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like once you get past that Stevenson Stone, there really is not much there. So I don't mind the depth lines of Carolina as well. And then on the Vegas side, that top line does interest me. Stevenson, Stone, Dadonov. Like Dadonov, power play 1, 2,800 is a pretty bad mispricing. So I think you can definitely have some, but like, again, if Vegas has one line or 4 lines, one of them's always over-owned. And I do worry a little bit about the ownership on the top line for Vegas tonight, but I do like Carolina a lot tonight.
Yeah, I think both the Stevenson and the Aho lines are definitely in consideration for me. Like Carolina is like by far the most penalized team in hockey. And that Vegas line of Stevenson, Dadonov, and Stone are all correlated together on the power play. They could get 5 power plays here tonight. So don't mind that line. Honestly, it's one of my favorite fillers on the whole slate. We have one final game to get to real quick. Before we get out of here, the No House Advantage NBA show with Eton and Terry is coming up right after us. And then the PGA Strategy Show with Jason and Ben at 4 Eastern. And then, of course, your NBA double show with the deeper dive and live before lock. Washington 3.2 implied goal total going into Anaheim 2.8 for the Ducks. I'm going to say right out of the gate that I do like Washington's top line here tonight, but they seem like pretty highly owned for a line on the road. So I'm probably going to be out on this game other than like some one-off Connor Sherry or one-off, Lars Eller or something like that. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I hate stacking the Capitals. It's just it's like a personal thing. I don't know. I don't take it personally. I just don't like personally doing it. But they're in a very, very good spot. If you want to use them, by all means, do it. There's a lot more home matchups that I like with lower ownership. So that's where I'm going to stick, but won't talk you off Capitals at all. On the Duck side, Troy Terry has a point in 647 straight games. If you want to use them, that's fine. But like their price is a little expensive for Ducks in a 2.8 total at home. So probably going to look elsewhere.
Yeah, I just don't like the price. Troy Terry, he can't keep shooting 33% or whatever it is. Like he just can't. He can't. Yeah, we do have to get out of here. I'm going to ask you for your hat trick pick and your goalies. My hat trick pick for tonight is Kevin Fiala, and I like Ilya Sorokin and Carter Hart in net. What do you got?
My hat trick pick is Rope Hintz. And my goalie, I like Talbot. I like Igor. Looking for a cheap one here. Oh, I saw one. Oh, UC Saros, if he's in. I like him for shot volume.
Yeah, I also like Saros as well. So there you go. You have Rope Hintz and Kevin Fiala as your hat trick picks for tonight. That'll do it for us. Good luck tonight, everybody. Hopefully somebody watching this show smashes that $33 on FanDuel and smashes that $4.44 on DK. Regardless, we'll see you guys on Thursday.